Here we go. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman. Follow me on Twitter at FFP Garage. Welcome to the channel. Let's get it kicked off. Best Ball Mania 5. You already know what it is. We've been drafting all summer. We've been drafting big boards, Best Ball Mania 5s, everything. It's all going on. So let's get back into it. Had a bunch of technical difficulties early on, but that's how it goes. And we're here and doing good. So we're about to jump into a draft. Let me go ahead and kick up the music. Yeah, I think that's just right. Maybe a little bit quieter. Nice. All right. Yeah, it's Friday night. I'm feeling good. I'm going to go ahead and enter this draft. And let's do it. Waiting for 6 more people. This is my 23rd draft this season. And yeah, so far they've been pretty good. Did a bunch of big boards, a bunch of the smaller tournaments that have come out so far. And yeah, finally got that badge from last season. Had a top 10 finish in the Poodle 2, finished 7th overall. It's pretty sweet. Actually, that was a really good sweat. It was New Year's Eve, and yeah, that was a fun one. Of course, it was a Amon-Ra CD 1-2 for the first 2 picks that carried us into the Week 17 finals of that Poodle. And yeah, it was a fun sweat. I think the highest I was like 4th, tied for 4th at one point. And so I was following that all night long on New Year's Eve, waiting for 2 more people till we get this Best Ball Mania 5 draft kicked off. And yeah. What's up, Hope? Man, it is late on a Friday night, but it is always the right time to be drafting. Always drafting best ball. That's the motto. And just getting the stream kicked up and back on. How's it going, Hope? How's your night going? Hope's been killing it at Underdog, launching new tournaments, new content for us D-Gens. So, pretty excited about that. There's been a lot of streams going on. I think everyone's gone live tonight. I've caught a bunch of streams so far. And it's been good stuff. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm just chilling at home this weekend, gonna knock out a bunch of drafts. And last weekend I was in Fort Worth, Texas for the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club, and it was really fun. I went on Sunday, got to watch #Free Scotty Scheffler, finished 2nd. He actually was 1 over for the day on Sunday, but it was just fun to be out there, and it was hot. It was like in the 90s. It was like 95 degrees when we were out there, and so all of the players out there were having a really rough time. There's hardly anyone who was under par on Sunday. There's a few guys, but no one in like the top of the leaderboard. All right, this draft is filled. We've got, let's see who we got here. I'm in the 4 spot. Drinking a coffee, watching some streams. Nice. Should hit me up. I'm in Frisco. Yeah, next time for sure. A coffee this late at night? You're pulling an all-nighter. Crazy. I was drinking some espressos earlier in the day. I had the day off today, so I was chilling with my daughter and my wife all day, doing some fun stuff. I was walking the dog during Meg's stream and Pat. Let's go, Jamar Chase. Easy pick. I was walking the dog, getting in my Underdog cardio club during their stream earlier. And yeah, I've been trying to get this stream set up and going for like the last 2 hours. Just got a new MacBook this year, which was like a big purchase for me. I've been waiting to like replace my old computer for a really long time. So I have to figure out how to use a Mac again. I haven't used a Mac since I was like in undergrad, and everything is completely foreign to me. So just getting OBS set up, all that kind of stuff, ridiculous. But yeah, in Frisco, I was out there in Fort Worth. I was saying my brother lives out there in Fort Worth now, and my sister's in Plano. So I make the journey out there every once in a while, but it was really fun. Picked up this sweet hat at the Colonial, and I got some collared shirts, some golf shirts too, and a bunch of pictures. We were there on Sunday, and we followed, like I said, we followed Davis Riley and Scotty Scheffler around. We watched Tony Finau play. Ricky Fowler was in his Sunday orange, looking good. He didn't play too well, but no, it was a fun time out there. It was just so hot. So it was a good time. I missed the Texas Children's Open in Houston because it was like Easter weekend. It was like a busy weekend. I was actually out of town, and the next golf event that's in Houston is the Live Golf event at Houston Country Club, and I'm looking to get some tickets. The tickets are actually pretty cheap to those events. They make it really easy to get in. So I think it's next weekend. So I'll be looking at that for sure. Started out the draft with Jamar Chase with the fourth pick. PGA Championship at PGA Frisco in 2027. Is that right? I think that's cool. Yeah, going to a major is next level. I've submitted for the lottery for like the Masters like every year, of course, not getting chosen. And I think though, like that's like probably the most exclusive one. Um, yeah, going to a major is definitely on my list of things to do. Especially, I'm all hyped up just going to the Colonial. The Colonial is like a really nice event. I thought it was really well put on. It was just so hot out there, but really fun. Pretty good field. Oh, nice. No way. So Hope was working for uh, PGA of America. Sweet. Yeah, I've got a buddy who has like I think he had started working with them. I don't exactly know where he's at though. I think he's I think he is near Dallas. So that would make sense. Okay, back on the clock, second round. And mm, Devontae Adams or Debo. I don't know. Devontae Adams, obviously a great pick, but the Raiders, I don't know how I feel about the Raiders. I'm going Debo here just because I haven't had a lot of Debo yet. And I feel like a Jamar Chase Debo 1-2 is pretty strong. I mean, you can get giant spike weeks from both of these players. Not that you can't from Devontae Adams. Of course, he goes the very next pick, but I don't know. It just feeling Debo this time. It's a toss up right there for me. Mm, thought I'd be feeling this song more, but I'm kind of not feeling it. The next song on this one, that's better. Hmm. All right, let's look at the board. What's been going on? Fourth pick, Jamar Chase. 21st pick, Debo. Coming back up to me on 28th pick. Who would I want to be there? The drafter in the first position goes CMC, Mike Evans, A-Chan. Laporta goes, of course. It's still pretty common to see Laporta go in the very first couple picks in the third round, which I think is fine, but I would have liked Laporta there to pair up with my Debo stack for week 17. I'm on the clock, and I don't know. I kind of like Diggs. I've been drafting a lot of Diggs. It feels like I can't get enough. Who else would I take here? Yeah, it's going to be a Diggs pick for me. Why not? I was actually just looking at the Texans. I'm on their like newsletter send out. Of course, I'm Houston based. I got my Texans caps in the background. Texans caps going on there, and I got their newsletter, and they're sending out a lot of Stephon Diggs propaganda videos from whatever's going on OTAs right now, and he's wearing number one in those videos. So it's like, how can he not get psyched on that? Diggs wearing number one, catching passes from Stroud. Uh, I'm really high on that offense. I mean, it was going into last season. I went to Texans training camp on a Friday. I think it was like the beginning of August, I want to say, and the atmosphere was just like different. Like I already knew that they were going to kind of have somewhat of a breakout season, but who could have seen them making the playoffs, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year with C.J. Stroud and Defensive Rookie of the Year with Will Anderson. Speaking of, well, let's check in with the draft board first. Let's just pull up the draft board. After Diggs goes Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers has been another pick I really like at the back of the third round. Not afraid to take him in the third round. I think he's a great pick. Henry usually goes right around Zay Flowers as well. DJ Moore kind of fell this time. I was actually considering maybe going DJ Moore when I took Diggs, because I do like DJ Moore. I haven't got enough of him yet, but I think it makes more sense to take him kind of in that back of the third range. Travis Kelce, Michael Pittman Jr., and T. Higgins at the turn. There are a lot of drafters who have started out with strong wide receivers, so I'm not the only one so far. The teams that are right around me have also gone through wide receivers to start, and the guy in the 12 spots taken 4. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson go. That's fine. I mean, I wouldn't expect Lamar Jackson to fall to me, but it would have been a cool pick to go with Diggs. But yeah, pretty sweet. One of my buddies who shows up to our redraft, my number one like redraft league that we've been going on for like, I don't know, almost 15 years now. A bunch of my high school buddies. He showed up to our redraft and he gave everyone like packs of cards, and I think I opened he gave me like 2 packs of cards. Okay, I'm on the clock. We'll get to the cards later. Christian Kirk, Trey McBride. I kind of like Trey McBride. I don't know how he fits this team though. Josh Jacobs, I don't like as much. I'm going to go ahead and highlight Christian Kirk, although I don't love taking him in the 4th. I like him better in the 5th, but his ADP has been rising. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just bite the bullet there. We'll take Christian Kirk. I'm a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Drake London. Hope says Drake London in the 1st is tough. I would agree. It's just like, do you take Garrett Wilson? It's like, maybe. Garrett Wilson obviously has shown more, but I just don't like how many targets it's taken Garrett Wilson to be productive. And I'm also not really an Aaron Rodgers believer. I was an Aaron Rodgers believer his whole career. I just feel like it's come to the point where that injury in that last season really was like the nail in the coffin. Christian Kirk a lot. Yeah, it's hard not to like Christian Kirk. A lot of, I think, why he's falling to the 4th round, as like if we like assume he's the wide receiver 1 on that Jacksonville offense, like the reason why I think he's falling is because he got injured last season, and that's really when Evan Ingram took over and like had like most of his production. Although I think Evan Ingram was fine too, but okay, Mark Andrews is still there for me. This is a spot where it's like I could go Stroud. It's probably a good pick. I haven't been able to get Stroud lately. Usually people who take Nico or Tank will reach on Stroud. I'm going to go with Stroud this time, just because I feel like I have been able to get still some strong tight ends later, although it's going to be kind of hard to get him to fall back to this end of the board. But I don't know. I've been doing a lot of my Best Ball Mania drafts lately. If I don't take an elite QB, I've had like a hard time getting those kind of mid to late QBs that stack really well with my top picks to fall. And so I could still potentially get, I didn't give myself room to pick up Joe Burrow here or really Purdy. It'd probably be too early to take another quarterback, but we'll see how this one works out. The other thing I have to think about is like, how do I get my Ravens bring back now that Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews are gone, as well as Derrick Henry. So I have to look to like maybe a Bateman, maybe Tez Walker could be a good pick. And there's some other options, but so far, like how this has started, probably could have gone Mark Andrews there. Would have made a lot of sense. And then either gone for Burrow in a bit or Purdy. I saw Brock Purdy fall to like pick 130 in a draft earlier today, and then in the draft I did right after that, he went in like the 90s. So never really know. But like I was saying, Christian Kirk, number one target is offense. I do like Brian Thomas just fine. I like Evan Ingram just fine. I'm probably not the biggest believer in Gabe Davis, but I think Trevor Lawrence is like, he's at a really good price too. And he's kind of like ready for that next step. I think the Jaguars are kind of on the come up. So Christian Kirk, I think he could be a guy that has like the ability to earn a lot of targets. And that's kind of what I'm going for with my first 4 to 5 wide receivers. I want guys who are either going to be like huge spike week guys, opportunities for like a lot of touchdowns, like Devo, or just target earners, Diggs, Chase, Kirk, guys who are just going to like really produce. So I don't know. Having second thoughts about taking CJ Stroud there. I don't think it's a bad value. He's been going like in the 4th round even. But this draft room, late on a Friday night, we had a few badges in here. Quarterbacks are definitely not going early so far. They're kind of going right where they should. And now Pitts and George Kittle go. So I'm losing out on my chance to get an elite tight end. But at the same time, pick 76, which is 2 picks for me up, is like where I could get Evan Ingram and then potentially kind of get that either that team stack for the Jags, and I'm on the clock, or maybe I just hammer the Jags. I get Brian Thomas here. I do like Ladd. I haven't gone running back yet. I could go Kamara, although he might fall, but then I can't get Ingram. How do I want to play that? I don't have to be so invested in the Jags, maybe just one of the other guys, and obviously Joe Burrow is going to be there, so I could have gotten Joe Burrow with that pick 77 that's coming up. I'll take Ladd McConkey here. I think Keon Coleman had already gone, and Rome Odunze, and obviously I think Rome Odunze is a little bit better of a prospect, but just landing spot with Ladd on the Chargers and all of that offense kind of up in the air on who are going to be like the key pieces. I think it's a fun wide receiver 5 for me. So this is where I'm going to start. And Evan Ingram goes anyways, so I'm not going to really like, and Brian Thomas. I don't have to make a huge bet on the Jaguars. Christian Kirk is enough for me. But this is right about where I'm looking for like a running back to fall, and it could be Kamara. I've been taking a lot of Kamara, a lot of Aaron Jones. I'm fine with taking David Montgomery. Addison would be a fun pick too, but it's a little bit, I've already got 5 wide receivers that I feel good about. So I think it is time. For sure. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, never going to quit him. Hopes all in. Anyone who watches college football knows how good he is. Okay, Alvin Kamara goes 1 pick before me. That's kind of a bummer, but probably a blessing in disguise because, Aaron Jones is still there. I think Aaron Jones has still got the juice. He can still get those spike weeks. But maybe it would have been better if I went Addison instead of Ladd McConkey with my previous selection, just to build out that team stack. So now I'm looking at, where can I fit in some of these Packers skill position players, and they actually go pretty late. I know Jaden Reed's already gone. Josh Jacobs. Actually, Christian Watson had already gone. Something I didn't notice. Let's see where that went. He had just gone, literally after my pick. But there's still a few Packers skill position players that are coming up that I can kind of get that Week 17 bring back with Aaron Jones. But in general, I just think Aaron Jones is a great value in the seventh round. Uh, yeah, anyone who watches college football and actually pays attention to college football is has to be a Trevor Lawrence fan. I mean, what he did at Clemson, like he's the man, which is kind of crazy because we should have known C.J. Stroud was the guy. Just the aura he has around him and like the way he leads the locker room, the way that he kind of carried himself at Ohio State. That's like not an easy task to lead a program like that. You see a lot of guys transfer out of Ohio State because they can't handle the pressure. Okay, so pulling up the board. Through 7 rounds, I started off with 4 wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, Steph Diggs, Christian Kirk. Took CJ Stroud in the 5th round. I think that's fair. Probably looking back, I could have gone Mark Andrews and then taken Joe Burrow in my 7th round pick. A little bit of arbitrage there because a healthy Joe Burrow probably has just the same upside as a CJ Stroud. But the problem is Joe Burrow hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's had the wrist injury. I think it was his calf that was bothering him too, like before that. So, you hate to think that you can predict injuries. Like, I don't want to bank on that. If I was going to draft Joe Burrow, I would assume he's getting the going into like, okay, this is going to be Joe Burrow's comeback year. But I passed on that opportunity when I took Stroud. I also passed up taking Mark Andrews, who would have been a nice pair with Diggs. But getting my quarterback stacked up with a top wide receiver that I took is still not a bad position to be in. And I don't really have to take Purdy because it's too soon for me to go back to the well at quarterback. And Deebo is one of those guys that doesn't need to be stacked up. He can score rushing touchdowns. He can be effective. So I don't necessarily feel like I have to take Purdy there. Let's see what's coming up. Sutton's going to be my pick, potentially. That gives me a Week 17 bring back on my Jamar Chase selection. It's a little bit early for Sutton, but I think could be a good pick. Also gives me an opportunity to take Knicks later on. Let's see. I mean, do I want Mostert though? I kind of like Mostert too. I'm going to go Sutton. I think Sutton's fine. I've got another pick coming up, and sometimes Mostert falls. Sutton probably would have fallen too, but when I look at the positional needs of the teams at the turns, they've already got the guy at the one spot's got 3 running backs and 3 through the first 4 rounds. I mean, Mostert goes, but that's fine. He goes to the CD team. I kind of thought he might take him. But this is where I'm looking back to, probably looking back at going for a running back in this range. A guy like Trey Benson. I'm not afraid to take Trey Benson a little bit ahead of ADP. I like Trey Benson just fine. I don't really have a reason to take Dak or Caleb Williams. I thought maybe I could have got lucky if the guy who took Mostert would have gone for Dak, but he's got Patty Mahomes on his team. So Benson for sure is a good pick. Javonte is not a bad pick just because I get that bring back with Jamar Chase, but I'm not a huge Javonte believer, and I don't know what's going to happen in that Sean Payton offense where, I mean, it could just be a running back by committee, almost guaranteed, the way that he used to run the Saints offenses every time, every year. You'd have 3 running backs that were like usable in a Sean Payton offense. So I don't have a lot of confidence in Javonte Williams. I think the upside of Trey Benson as my RB2 is a lot more appealing. but I do have to start thinking about like how do I bring this team together. Still need tight end. I'm most likely going late tight end on this team. Isaiah Likely could be a good pick. Javonte scares me a little bit. I mean, I did see though, um, was it Audric Estime had a knee scope. I just look at Denver and then scroll up. McLaughlin, I thought there was some news on him. No, he's returning healthy for OTAs. But yeah, Estime had a knee scope that came out. So like that's probably fine. He's probably fine, but there's a little bit of fear there too. And then there's been some hype on this Blake Watson guy. I think I picked him up in a dynasty league or two. But I know that across my dynasty leagues, Blake Watson was a guy that was a free agent a couple days ago or last week, and now pretty much he's scooped up everywhere. Okay, looking at the board, my last two picks were Cortland Sutton and Trey Benson. I think I'm going to wait a little while at QB since I took Stroud in the fifth. It's pretty early. I think David Njoku on the right team is a great pick. He was great in the playoffs, and he's one of those players that was on my Poodle 2 team that I finished with a top 10 finish with. And so, like, anytime you've got a player that that wins you a lot of money or, like, gives you a really good finish, you're always going to remember that, and you're going to want to have them on your teams. But I don't know if you fit this team very well. I don't have any Dolphins so far, and I don't plan on drafting Deshaun Watson. And I haven't taken any of their Browns, so didn't really want to make that bet. But I think Njoku is a really good price in like the 9th round. I think he's definitely better than Dallas Goedert, who goes a couple picks after him. So after I pick Trey Benson, Javonte Williams goes, Romeo Doubs, Tyler Lockett, Dallas Goedert. Devin Singletary goes, Brock Purdy then goes to the team who drafted Brandon Ayuk. Jamar Gibbs, Brandon Ayuk, I think is a pretty solid combo with the 1-2, and then you get Purdy later on, that's fine. But then the same guy takes an unstacked Tua, a little bit strange there. The 12th pick drafter goes for Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb. And he had already taken DeAndre Swift, so he's kind of hammering running backs after taking 4 wide receivers with his first 4 picks. He hasn't taken a wide receiver since, which I think is actually a mistake through 10 rounds. Through 10 rounds, I wanted at least 5 wide receivers, and I think I've got 6 on my team. Yeah, I'm a little bit light at running back right now, but there's a lot of guys that I like in this range, and I like going late at running back. So probably what I'm missing out on is that elite tight end. Through this point, that's probably what I'd rather have. I'd rather have like a 1-2-5-1 build through my first like 9 picks. So let's see what's available here. By ADP, Dalton Schultz is the next tight end to go, and because I've got CJ Stroud, it's probably a good idea to take him here. There's a chance he'll come back to me. If I look at the teams around me, they all have tight ends, so I'm going to push it. And I'm going to take Chase Brown here and make a team bet on obviously the Bengals, because I took Jamar Chase with my first pick. So, just assuming Joe Burrow comes back healthy and is able to guide this offense to a lot of points and score a lot of touchdowns, I think Chase Brown is an upside player, is explosive. He didn't really get a lot of touches last season. When you look at a guy that typically goes around him in drafts, like a few picks before I took Chase Brown, you have Tyjae Spears going in the same round, and Spears got way more usage last year, even playing behind Derrick Henry. So the only hope I have is that Chase Brown kind of in that 1A, 1B role with Zach Moss ends up winning out. And I think Zach Moss is fine, But Zach Moss has never been a guy that people have been excited for fantasy until this year. He's going as an 8th round pick. Like I think maybe his rookie or sophomore year could go somewhat high when he was still on the Bills, but he kind of had that resurgence last year with the Colts, and I think that's fine. I don't hate Zach Moss as kind of your RB like 3, but I think Chase Brown is a little bit more exciting. Chase Brown was a guy I was really excited about as a rookie last year. I wish he'd have gotten some more play. After I take Chase Brown, Blake Corum goes. Blake Corum's definitely rising ever since the Kyren news, and we're on the clock. Trevor Lawrence goes. Probably too soon for me to take another quarterback, so I'm not really upset about that pick. But this time I already know I'm going to go Dalton Schultz, unless, let's see who's there. No one I have to have at quarterback. No one I have to have at running back. It's kind of the running back cliff. You get to Zeke. It's like, do you really want Zeke? And wide receiver, I think I'm good there. So, yeah, we're going Dalton Schultz with this pick. And I like that. It ends up working out well for me because, let me scroll down. Pick 124. It's honestly not that bad of a value to take your first tight end in the 11th round. I think is totally fine if you're going with kind of a later tight end strategy that I have ended up in, missing out on the elite guys. But he stacks up with CJ. So now I've got, obviously, let's just assume that for the sake of this draft, one of the 3 between Diggs, Tank, and Nico potentially is going to underwhelm a little bit. And it's hard to say who that would be because Nico's coming off a great season. Tank has like all this upside. But for Dalton Schultz to work out, he needs to be higher than the 4th option in offense. And I honestly, realistically don't think he is in like season long. But when it comes down to weeks 15, week 16, week 17, Dalton Schultz can definitely be the guy that has a 2-touchdown game, or is, catches like 8 or 10 balls in a game, and the offense kind of flows through him. So I think having that connection with Stroud when I didn't have the chance to draft Nico, who went in the 2nd round, but before my 2nd pick, and then Tank Dell, where did he go? Yeah, Tank Dell didn't wrap around. He went between my 3rd and 4th picks. Looking at the draft board, we just took our first tight end after taking back-to-back running backs in Trey Benson and Chase Brown, both upside guys that I think, I'm excited about to see what they can do. And James Conner, he had a really good season last year, but I think the Cardinals are just going to be a better team overall in 2024, so I want a piece of that, even if James Conner is still there. Oh, my light just went out. I need to plug that in. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a little bit darker in here, but it's fine. Honestly, I was getting tired of staring into that bright light. Okay. Dalton Schultz, followed by Jacoby Myers, Caleb Williams, Brandon Cooks, Jared Goff goes to the team who has, I'm guessing, Amon-Ra. Yeah. Dontavian Wicks, Jahan Dotson, Mike Williams. Now these are the wide receivers who, like, you're cool with them as your wide receiver, like 6'7", but anything past that, it's like you're not super psyched. Who's available now? I gotta start thinking about my 2nd QB, but I've got some time on that. It would have been Justin Herbert, would have been good, but he is gone. He just went. I was thinking about him. Let me go ahead and queue up Dowdle. Do I want Lloyd? I kind of want Marshawn Lloyd. I'll take Marshawn Lloyd there. I'm not sure who else I was between Dowdle and Lloyd. I haven't been taking a ton of Dowdle lately, but Lloyd I know is someone that is kind of an exciting rookie, and potentially can take over a little bit of that work from Josh Jacobs And I like the Green Bay offense in general. I really like how Jordan Love ended the season last year, led them to the playoffs, and I think that was like, really cool. So fun to watch, and maybe Lloyd can carve out a role. Gives me a little bit of a week 17 game stack with Aaron Jones. Maybe it's just like this huge rushing game between the two offenses, but or just they could score a lot of points and somehow Marshawn Lloyd becomes the guy that's active and maybe even starting that week. It looks like Dow's going to come back to me. Do I want to take him here though? I've been liking Jalen Polk in this range a lot, and I think I could be due for another wide receiver. The hard part is he's a week 14 guy, and I've got Stroud there. If I was going to go for May later, it's not great. I could take Burton. Let's do Burton. Continuing to hammer rookies and also the Bengals. So I didn't get Burrow, but I'm making a big bet on the Bengals here with Chase, Brown, and Burton. I've already got the Cortland Sutton bring back, and I forgot Cortland Sutton's also a week 14 guy. So I didn't take Polk, but I was already thinking, who would I not want to pair up with CJ Stroud? And the obvious answer is any quarterback that's got the same bye week. Probably not ideal. And that's going to be Bo Nix of the Broncos or Zach Wilson. And also Drake May on the Patriots, not a good option for stacking up. Let's see, though. Kind of the same thing goes. Potentially Isaiah Likely could be one of those Baltimore bringbacks that I need, but he's also got a week 14 bye. So that's a little scary. And I'm starting to run out of available positions at wide receiver. Like if I'm going to take Tez Walker, he's probably one of the last guys I would take. So I need to get strategic there. Looking at this draft, yeah, this keeps happening to me. It's like, who's my QB2 going to be? Could be JJ. JJ McCarthy, I think, could be a great pick. I didn't get Jordan Addison, but just having Aaron Jones to pair up with the rookie quarterback, I think could be decent. Let's take a quick look at the quarterbacks remaining. Levis is kind of always a possibility because you've got either Chig Okonkwo, Tyler Boyd, or you could even go Traylon Burks with some pretty late picks. Derek Carr typically goes in like one of the last two picks or last two rounds. Bryce Young, I just don't believe it enough. I never really get excited there, and I haven't been taking any of the Panthers thus far in the draft. I don't think there's enough time left to take Baker. So, all right, let's focus on these next couple picks. It's crunch time. We got to land this plane. Got 5 picks left, and I need a quarterback, and I got to start stacking them up and working on those bringbacks. I'm thinking JJ might be my guy. I'm just not really sure how I can, without any other pieces besides Aaron Jones, how it makes a lot of sense for me. Bateman is still there. I think Bateman could be a pretty strong bringback that I would want. He's been rising in ADP. Let's see, Mooney's there. I wouldn't take Thielen, but that would give me an excuse to take Bryce. I could double down on Mims, which would be actually really fun, but I'm just afraid of taking Nix with the week 14 bye. So I think this is Bateman. Yeah. Did Baker go yet? No one's drafted Baker yet. It's always scary when you're coming down to taking your QB2 and there's literally like you have 1 or 2 rounds to make it happen. But Daniel Jones sometimes goes in the very last round, and I'm not afraid to take Daniel Jones. Jalen Hyatt goes late. Slayton goes late. The only thing there is we've got the Giants, and there goes Baker. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy also takes Otton, but he takes Geno Smith. That's kind of weird. Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith. All right. I've got Bateman, so I'm feeling pretty good at wide receiver. I don't necessarily need another one right now. Marvin Mims is there, but I do like Bucky Irving a little bit. I'm on the clock. Will Levis just went. That's crazy. Mims goes ahead anyways. Herbert's there. Who would I want, though? I like Javon Baker. I can't take him. Week 14 buys an issue. I'm trying to set something up with McCarthy. Yeah, I'm going to go Bucky Irving here. I'm taking a lot of rookie running backs, which can be a big risk just because of the lack of potentially defined roles or the ability to kind of like lose favor and lose snaps early in the season and have to regain it later. So that could start me off slow from a running back room perspective. Aaron Jones would definitely get the touches though, and I would expect Trey Benson to have a sizable role early on, so I'm not too worried about that. But let's see. What's the next move? I've got 3 picks left. I just took another running back and another wide receiver, so I'm actually pretty set at running back and receiver. I've got 5 and 8. It's the quarterback and the tight end. I got to figure out how to land the plane here without taking someone that has a week 14 bye, because like half of the late options have a week 14 bye. I can't take Drake May or Bo Nix if I want to go 2 QB, because I'm not willing to take an L in week 14 at QB. It's just too risky. It's too late in the season. You know, putting up 80 or 90 points in week 14 is not how you advance out of your pod. So targets are going to be, I mean, there's Carr. Oh, I probably should have seen, I think Juwan Johnson went early. Let me scroll down on that. Yeah, the problem was Juwan Johnson went early right before my last pick. So that he's always someone I kind of look to if I'm going to end up going with Carr. This could honestly end up being a Daniel Jones team. I'm looking at my buys right now. They've got a week 11 buy for the Giants. It's so dark in here. I should go turn the light on. My little mini light burnt out because it's just battery operated. I didn't plug it in. I just looked at the screen. It's like so dark in here. Oh well. And while you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. And thanks for watching. And if you have any questions in the chat about how I'm going to land this plane, fire them off, because we've got 3 picks left. And dang, okay, well, I guess I took Bateman. I forgot about Bateman, but I kind of get excited when I see Devontae Walker go. Wandell goes. That's kind of a nice link to a Daniel Jones team that I could be taking. I mean, I am set up in a way where I could take Knicks, but then I'd have to take another quarterback, and I think with a Stroud team, you probably just want 2 QBs. Carr's there, but like, what other Saints are available? Yikes. I almost thought about taking Taysom Hill as my QB2 in a draft earlier, but that would have been completely degenerate behavior. Oh, okay. Tracy's there. He could be fun. No, I've had too many rookie running backs. Yeah. We need a tight end. If I'm taking a tight end with Danny Dimes, we need Indianapolis. All right. We're just going to go here with Tyrone Tracy. Tons of rookie running backs, probably too much. I don't even think Tyrone Tracy has a very good chance of having that job with Devin Singletary, Motor, who just came off a great season with the Texans. But yeah, we also got kind of a week 11 bye issue with our running backs. That's all right, though. as long as it's not Aaron Jones. Can always go Justin Fields late and just take him unstacked, and it's kind of a wild pick, but not a quarterback. Kind of like Daniel Jones, Justin Fields is not a quarterback you have to have stacked up. You could just assume he's going to have a big rushing game. Dang, Jalen Hyatt goes. That's who I should have drafted, actually. I just didn't think to queue him up. That's okay. I can take Slayton here. The problem is I can't take Slayton. I need another tight end. Oh, and Daniel Jones goes the pick before me. Someone's trying to ruin my draft. That's okay. I'm going to go tight end here, someone who doesn't have a week 14 bye, and then I'll figure out quarterback. Conklin's kind of gross, but it's a lot of ADP value. Fant is interesting. Who did the Jets play again? The Jets play the Bills. Jonnu, Conquo. Conklin's fine. I mean, at the very least, I get like 20 picks of ADP value, but at this late in the draft, it really doesn't matter. Although I will say, like, Conklin is kind of a floor guy. I don't love the 1-2 of a Schultz Conklin. Kind of dropped the ball on my tight ends. I probably should have gone Mark Andrews and then gone Burrow. And that would have fixed my week 14 bye issue that I'm now running into, where I can't take May or Nix, who are like the only two guys left. So I can take an unstacked Derek Carr, which is going to be disgusting with my last pick. And I bet he doesn't make it there because the Olave drafter is lurking around the back end of the draft. But we go ahead and unqueue these tight ends. I'm definitely not going to go solo QB. I just have to get creative here. How can I make this work the best? It's like I really don't want that week 14 0 at QB. Derek Carr playing against the Raiders, and I didn't take I took Devo over Devontae Adams in the beginning, so I haven't really set myself up in any capacity to take Derek Carr, especially I missed out on Juwan Johnson, who I really actually was targeting. When Juwan Johnson went 2 picks before I took Rashad Bateman, that kind of sucked. It's got to be Fields, right? And Fields could get drafted. I mean, people have been taking Fields. I don't even know if he'll be there. It's either an unstacked Derek Carr or Justin Fields. And, I mean, they're both going to be unstacked, but Fields at least has the rushing upside. You just have the uncertainty of his job and being the starter when you need him. Kind of what we're going with here is just saying CJ Stroud is going to like scorch the earth. He's going to be the QB1 or just the QB you need in the playoff weeks, and he can carry me there during the regular season. So really, I'm just looking for a little week 14 bye week fill in at QB. Don't need much, maybe a little bit of upside. And it's going to come down to the wire. I'm starting to sweat. It's either going to be Derek Carr, Justin Fields unstacked. It's not worth taking Bo Nix and missing out on that. Yeah, fingers crossed, hope that Derek Carr is there. Why did I take Tyrone Tracy? Now I'm asking myself. That's the pick that I regret the most, I think, in the later picks. It's like, that should have been Daniel Jones, and then I had an out with Hyatt or Slayton with my next pick. So you live and you learn. Not every draft goes perfectly, but we'll see if we can. Oh, Russell Wilson goes. That at least saves me a little bit of slack. Anyone that needed a quarterback took Drake May and Russell Wilson. Bo Nix is still out there, so that gives me a small buffer as well. If I'm just looking at quarterbacks by ADP, it's Derek Carr and then Justin Fields and then Bo Nix. But people have been taking Nix sometimes ahead of both of those guys. I don't think I would take a Gardner Minshew because, I mean, he's not terrible, but just the job security, Aiden O'Connell, I don't know. The Raiders, not a great spot. Of course, Carr goes. So now Justin Fields goes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an unstacked Gardner Minshew or Taysom Hill. Do I take Taysom Hill? That's the question. If I take Taysom Hill here, I mean, I'm pretty much throwing this draft, but it could work. It could work. I drafted a lot of Taysom Hill last year. Actually, this is the only opportunity I'm ever going to get to take Taysom Hill. I think it's the perfect excuse. This is the perfect excuse right now to take Taysom Hill. There's no one else I'd rather have. Taysom Hill is my QB2. Never thought I'd see the day. But that's what happens when you wait until round 18 to take your second quarterback. Looking back, yeah. And this is the third BBM I've done today. I think two of them, including this one, were kind of like, I didn't really have a good plan at QB2, and that kind of like hurts when you get late into the draft. The other one I ended up pretty well with. I know, legendary. If this is the team and Taysom Hill's the guy you need, I don't know. They've been in OTAs. They've been running him with as running back. He's been getting reps with the running backs. So yeah, it's a fun one. Tyrone Tracy was the mistake pick. Definitely could have gone Daniel Jones there, and then had some outs with a few different receivers. And I don't even think that his tight ends got drafted. So that could have been an out for me as well. Completed drafts. Oh, here's a few of my completed drafts. But yeah, hey, where'd the draft go? That was weird. Let's go in there. The draft ended up being 2-6-8-2 with pretty weak tight end and extremely weak quarterback. I mean, I've got Stroud, but Taysom Hill is my QB2. You hate to see it, but at the same time, Taysom Hill. I mean, last year I drafted I think I had 20% Taysom Hill last year. Not that it worked out great, but it was a fun pick. So 2-6-8-2. I gotta take this song out of the rotation. This one's just way off. But Stroud, Taysom Hill, Aaron Jones from a running back room. Went with the 0 RB strategy, and I took 4 rookie running backs, which is a little bit overkill. Definitely going to be hurting there. Yeah, I don't love this one. I got a bye week 11 problem, a bye week 14 problem, weak second quarterback, weak tight ends. The wide receivers, though, they go pretty hard. Hey, what up, Pat? Grinding late. No, I'm just these are my reps. I'm getting the reps in when everyone else is asleep, so they don't see how bad my drafts are. Man, look at this team I just drafted. It's kind of a monster. I mean, the wide receivers go hard, but tight end, and I don't know. I need to figure out my quarterback strategy. Something's going wrong there. Running backs, I mean, there could be some upside. It could work out, but overall, this team, I'm not in love with it. I'll have to name it later. I've been naming my teams pretty consistently. LOL. Yeah, I'm getting these drafts in when no one else is on. But no, yeah, it's my third draft today. So up to 23 BBM5s, a score of others. I got a few slow. I got up in my 3 pugs. I've got my second and my third pug are in slows right now. And actually, one of them's up, so I might need to make a pick. Let's go to that draft. Bonus content before I shut it down for the night. I don't know what time it is. It's not that bad. It's only like 1 a.m. Central on a Friday night. That's pretty standard. Whew. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here, guys. Shout out to Hope and Pat. And yeah, this team is actually going really well. I've liked this Pug team. It's a Brock Purdy, Ayuk, Kittle team with Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra and Ayuk could put, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that Ayuk could be the CD of last year. I don't think he's got that, but he could be the guy you need in week 17 at least. And it's always fun to match up with Amon-Ra, two wide receivers like that. Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Pearsall. Pearsall's a guy I've been taking, so this is like a really heavy 49ers squad. And I actually like these running backs too. So what pick is this? Pick 14. Of course, I don't have a second quarterback yet. We already know I hate QB2s. Yeah, what would that be? It's slow draft, so I've got time to think about it. I could even make this pick in the morning, but let's see what we got. Yeah, this will be a fun one. It's coming together. I got Evo Cowboy in the room on this one. It's fun to see who's in these pub drafts. If you didn't get your fast in the day that it was open, you had to grab these slows. I've been trying to do way less slows this year. Last year I did like 14 or 15 BBM5 slows, and I'm trying to do 0 this year. So just these slows for these other tournaments. Purdy, Kamara, Warren, Spears, Eckler. Oh yeah, this could be a team that's shaping up for a Drake May with the Jalen Polk pick. Or Carr. Anytime you have Kamara, it's fine. You can go Carr, but Spears, you can go Levis. I could start taking some Titans. I've kind of already taken all the wide receivers that well, look who I've like starred. I've starred Mims and Franklin, so apparently I was thinking, and Henry, so apparently I'm thinking Knicks or May. Knicks would be cool. I've got T. Higgins for the bring back there. I don't have any Chargers though. It's kind of the struggle here with taking May. But who needs it when you've got, 4 49ers and Amon-Ra? What's the move? Pick 163. Could take good old Hunter Henry. That might be the move. And then just try to take May. Not early, but... Or Juwan Johnson, actually. I really like Juwan Johnson. He's there. What's Juwan Johnson's bye setup? The Saints are week 12 bye, of course. So, and the 49ers week 9 with the Steelers. So that could be a good setup. It's just kind of risky when you don't have Olave or Shaheed if you're going to take Carr because he's such a pocket passer. I feel like Juwan Johnson, though, could really step up. Last year they had Jimmy Graham. If I'm not mistaken, he had a bunch of touchdowns that were robbing Juwan Johnson. And I feel like my running backs, while I kind of went like with a late running back strategy, I kind of hammered them in those middle rounds after Kamara, so I'm decent right now with those guys. All right, peace, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to make this last draft selection and then call it a night and plan on streaming again real soon. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be a nice long weekend for me. Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson. Decent. What else could I do here? I don't want to take a wide receiver because if I do, I run out of opportunities to take one even later. And I just took 2 in a row. I think this is... I'm obviously not going quarterback here. I think this is peace. Thanks for tuning in. I think this is the spot where I go tight end. Yeah, I'm not crazy about these running backs right here. If I do take another Saints player like Juwan, you got to think about, do I have any opportunity to take a Raider for the bring back? And kind of the answer is no, unless I took Lauby, which I haven't been drafting since the big board, and even then I think I took him once. Madison's there. That's kind of a funny move. Not ideal. Although Alexander Madison was on the winning Best Ball Mania 14, and he was actually the first running back taken on that team, if I'm not mistaken. So who knows? Yeah, if I take Juwan Johnson, I'm pretty much committing to going for Derek Carr here with no bring back. There's no Chargers available though, are there? Chark. I don't like taking Chark. Every time I take Chark, it feels disgusting. Brendan Rice is kind of intriguing. He just has no draft capital. Dobbins is not a guy I've really been drafting a lot of. So that's tough, kind of both ways. I'm not going to have a good chance at a bring back. Unless I go Knicks. And in that case, I probably need to take both Mims and Franklin at some point, which is not great. Yeah, I guess if I'm investing this much in Kamara as my RB1 or potentially RB2, then I'm probably saying that Derek Carr and the Saints is a good bet. I can have fun with Jalen Polk without having to go hard on the Patriots. I'm still a little bit skeptical about having a true, rookie quarterback and his ability to kind of get it all done. It's always kind of a risky proposition. At the same time, is Derek Carr getting towards the end of his tenure? I don't think so. I think in general, their ADPs are a little bit split, but in general, I like Juwan Johnson just as much as Hunter Henry, pretty equally. And situation-wise, Juwan Johnson might have a better situation. Over 100 and 113 targets in the last 2 seasons. Henry's, I would think, kind of that exact same kind of range. A little bit better touchdown upside with Henry historically. Let's go Juwan Johnson here. Call it a night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.